Hey guys, this is John from Tomba Lake. Today I'm back with another video for the Spindle short stool, and today's video is about the seat. So what we need to do first thing is to draw out the circle shape, and also to mark out where we want to drill the holes. So there's going to be a lot of marking for the first section, and then we'll do some drilling, and we'll finally cut out the shape of the seat, which is going to be the circle. Alright, so let's jump right into it. Okay, the very first drawing that we need to do is to get the center mark. So we need to get the dead center so that we can use that as a reference to draw the circle. So the easiest way to go about doing that is to connect the two corners, from going from corner to corner. Just going to use my ruler. I extended my ruler with the square. So if you have a longer ruler, that would be more convenient. So the seat block is supposed to be around 400 millimeter. So it'd be 400 millimeter by 400 millimeter. So if it's slightly longer or slightly shorter, it's completely fine, because it's going to be a circle anyway. So it's not going to change anything about the seat. Okay, so now we have the center. So the next thing we need to find is the point where it intersects here. So measure it from the side, from either side, and then measure it again from here, and then you do another intersecting lines. So right after we draw the intersecting line from corner to corner, next thing I'm going to do, find the center is 21 here. So I'm going to find a 21 at the bottom here. Same thing at the top. And just like that, it's done. So this is basically all the three lines that we're going to need. Because so if you remember, in the last video we covered the grain direction. So in this seat, the grain directions are going either that way or this way. So you can either make this side the front or this side the front. And I'm going to make this the front of my seat. So this is where one of my joinery is going to be, and there's going to be another two at the back there. So what we need to do is just draw out the big circle to cover up the entire block. So to draw a circle, we'll need a couple of things. We'll need a screw or a nail, any kind of sharp object that we can use as a pivot, and the other one is a string and a marker that you're going to be using. The first thing, we're going to bury this deep in wood. So remember, you're just trying to fill up the circle here. So let's go like this. That's better. So all I did was I made a loop around one end, and I just keep the other side loose so that I can adjust it. Make sure you keep the marker straight. Okay, there we have our circle. So this is going to be, so in my case it would be 420 millimeter wide circle. So in your case it would be around what do you call that, 400, or it could be slightly smaller. but once again, it doesn't really matter. We just want to get the rough shape of the circle. Okay, let's start with 130. And the reason is that I realized we don't really need to draw a full circle. We just need to have a marking at 130. So it would be here, and another one here where there's going to be drilling, and the last one there. So those 3 spots are where we're going to be drilling our seat. Okay, and for 140, I think it's better to draw a half circle or even a full circle, just to give us a bit of a So if you're not certain about your, like, how well you're drawing, you can put lots of 140 marks around the seat, and then make sure your circle line intersects basically where you are drilling. So quite honestly, this is all we need for the 140. Since the seat drawing will basically continue like that. It's almost like a straight line, but right before we reach this intersection, this line here, just probably end around 10 to 15 millimeter right there, and you just connect a line like that, like a little curl, a little curve that goes around like that. Same thing here. Go straight, and then towards the end, just give it a little curve. All right, so now we have where we're going to be drilling. Right there, right there, and right there. So they should all be about 130 millimeter away from the center point. So 130, 130. So that's where the 3 spots that we're going to be drilling. And you want to make sure you have this crosshair on those spots, and because that will make it easier for us to reference when we are drilling. Okay. So if you're wondering, how do you make sure they are straight, right? So this wall here, the fence, so let's call this the fence on the side, will make sure it is going straight down because it's perpendicular, or it is basically sitting straight down on the surface, right? So that is what's going to take care of the straightness. And the second one, the angle, is this wall here. I might need to clamp my workpiece down, maybe like this. Ow. Remember, it's going to be at 130 mark. So we start the drill there. And put the angle. Make sure everything is straight. The front is blocked. Just make sure you blow away the debris. Check the straightness. Since we're going at an angle using a hand drill, it is quite difficult for the drill bit to cut through. So it requires a lot of torque, and sometimes a hand drill cannot really deliver the kind of torque that we need. So what we need to do is just go slow, right? There's no harm in going slow. Okay, sit, pull back. Let's check again. I think I'm about halfway through, which is perfect. Okay, check the angle, make sure everything lines up, and continue. Yeah, I have to make sure I don't drill through the seat and then through the table. I am about 3/4, just a little bit more. Okay, check the alignment again. Make sure everything's straight, and then boom, go. Pull back. Now let's check from the other side. Nope, not yet. Just clean up the hole. Just a little bit more. It's actually around halfway. You don't really need the jig anymore because you already have like the pilot hole that you started out with, right? There you go. There's a little hole that pokes through. So what I'm going to do now is go from this angle. Make sure everything is straight and also angle, and then go. There you go. It's through all the way now. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with this, so I'll take it back out. And continue drilling the other three. Okay, so I drill 3 holes, one at the front, so this is going to be the front of my seat, and the 2 at the back. So when you're drilling, you have to make sure you drill from the top down, so that when you when it's done, you'll end up with the angle that's going downward. All right. So after this, we're going to cut out the shape of the seat. Since it's a circle, we're gonna use the same technique as chamfering. So I'm just gonna saw off the corners, the 4 corners, and then slowly bring it down to a circle shape. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna draw a straight line from here to here, right next to the circle, the outside line of the circle. Keep put it up like this, and just kind of straight line. Okay. Okay. Start from the front. So once you've cut the front corner all the way down, you want to start cutting the middle and then slowly to the back. So that you establish the straight line all the way across. So now I've cut the front, a little bit in the middle, and the back. All I need to do is just go really gentle. Okay, so I've cut as much as I can from this side. So I'm gonna flip it around and cut from the other side as well. So at this stage you'll have 2 cut lines, and you just have to continue those cut lines. Okay. So now I have the exact same line. I've actually cut the front and the back a little bit. So now we know it's just the middle section that needs to be cut away. There you go. All right, as you can see, this is the cut you'll end up with after about 8 minutes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is continue cutting the remaining 3 corners, then we can move on to the next section. Alright, so after about 30 to 40 minutes of hand sawing, this is the shape that we have. It's an octagon, so to get into a full circle we still need to get rid of the remaining edges, and usually at the workshop this should take less than 10 minutes because we usually use a bandsaw in the workshop. You know, you just cut it out. Each corner would take less than 3 minutes if I'm not wrong, but yeah, hand sawing is definitely not an easy way to go. So I'm going to continue sawing out these edges the same way. I believe sawing would take out all of these a little bit faster compared to chiseling. All right, so let's get to it. All right, guys, this is what you would end up with. As you can see, it is in the shape of either an octagon or a pentagon. I'm not familiar with those terms, but as you can see, it's like very close to the final circle shape that we were going for. And I apologize for the seed looking a bit wet because right when I was sawing the last part it started raining, so I had to hide, but I didn't manage to keep everything in place. So yeah, so all these little tiny edges that are still left on this block are going to be shaved away using a hand plane or chisel, which I'm going to do later, probably the next day. Yeah, so if you have followed to this stage, perfect. So next step is going to be just rounding off the remaining edges to get that final perfect circle shape that we're going for. All right. Okay, as I mentioned in my previous video, we're going to be carving out these remaining edges with our hand plane. So first thing, I'm gonna secure the block over here. Get everything in frame and just grab a block plane and start shaving. So right now all I'm doing is just shaving the top corner down to the line. So now there's like a little chamfer at the top, getting close to the line. Go back in and remove that little bump. Okay, so now the top is done. I'm going to do the same thing from the bottom. And then you shave away the middle section here. Until you flatten out the entire surface. Okay, looks pretty round. Actually, we don't need to turn it over and round the bottom. Flatten the bottom. Just need to take care of the top. Make sure it follows the circle. Since the bottom is going to be rounded at the very end, there's still a lot of carving. So I'm just going to focus on the top from here on out. Alright, so after about 2 to 3 hours of hand planing, this is the shape that you would end up with. As you can see, it's properly round and circle. Okay, so next step, in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to turn this straight cylindrical hole into a taper one. So we're going to be doing a lot of chiseling from the bottom up. Okay, so that's it for cutting out the shape of the seat and drilling the seat. Drilling the mortises for the seat. Alright, so see you guys in the next one.